Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to configure call routing, call flow, and IVR on Callsavvy. So let's get started. First, we go to settings and we go to business settings. The first thing we need to do is to complete our basic call settings. First, we buy a number. Without a phone number, we won't be able to get calls in or out from our workplace. So to do that, we navigate to numbers and then we click on buy a number. Callsavvy allows you to pick a number from any country of your choice. So we're gonna go pick a number from Nigeria. So once you select the country, it's gonna give you a list of numbers available on that country for you to choose. I'm gonna go ahead and choose this number and click on buy, and that's it. My number has been purchased. The next step will be the verification. The verification requires us to put in a phone number that we already have that Callsavvy can use to verify the new number we purchased. Without this step, we won't be able to make calls from this number. We can receive calls, but we'll not be able to make a call until we complete this step. So I'm going to skip this step for now and come back to it later on. Next is configuring call functions. So we go to call center, and the first setting we want to do is the call hold music. So this is the song that we play back to the caller when their call is on hold or when their call is on queue. So we choose any MP3 file to upload here. Then after that, we go to automatic call distribution. Enabling this means that once a call comes in, the call will be routed to agents based on their availability. That is, the call will be assigned to agents based on their availability. So we can enable or disable this. The next is, if we are going to be using the call distribution function, setting is very important to set the gap between each call. That's the number of seconds to wait between each calls. We do this from the pause between calls. We specify here the number of seconds we want. Then the next is the ring timeout. This controls how long any call that comes into Callsavvy rings before it's timed out. This doesn't control how long the call stays on the queue. This only applies when an agent is called directly in Callsavvy. The next is the queue time. This is actually the one that controls how long a call is allowed to stay on a queue before it is timed out. So specifying this, we're going to put this for 15 minutes. What it means is that when a call stays on a queue for more than 15 minutes and no one answers it, the call is going to be taken out of the queue and the caller will be notified that no one is available to take the call. Then the next is to enable or disable call recording. By default, call recording is enabled. We can turn it off or on. So it's better to leave it on so that all our calls will be automatically recorded. Then the next step is call transcript. One of the cool features of Callsavvy is that its AI can actually transcribe a call, giving you an overview of what the conversation is all about, generating a summary, a transcript. So if we set this to enable, it means that the moment a call is completed, the recording will be transcribed. Setting it to disable means that we have to manually transcribe any call we want. Then the next is how we want to handle calls outside our business hours. Setting this to yes means that Callsavvy will allow calls to come in even when our business hours is past, as long as there is someone online to answer the call. So we're going to set this to yes to optimize our chances of not missing customers' calls. Then the next is offline message. So there are many events where Callsavvy will need to play offline message. The first one is when the call stays on the queue longer than the number of minutes we specified here. The second one is if the call happens after the time we specified as our closing hour. So here we controls how what we want call service to do, how we want call service to communicate to the customer that we are not available to answer the call. We can use text to speech or upload recording file. So we're going to go ahead and use text to speech that will simply tell the customer that we are not available to answer the call. Then we update the settings. Okay, the mp3 file. So I'm going to choose an mp3 file to use. Play. And our call setting is saved. With the call settings done, we can now move on to IVR. So we go to the settings menu and select call flow and IVR setup. Now we click create call flow to start building our flow. Then we give the flow a name. We're going to name it main call flow. This will help us identify this flow anytime I want to edit it. Then the next is to choose the trigger event. So what is going to trigger this flow? So this is our main flow. So we're going to have it triggered by an incoming call. And then next we choose which number do we want to apply this to. We can apply it to all our numbers or we choose a specific number. Then after that, we now choose the response, how we want Callsavvy to respond when an incoming call comes in. This is our trigger. So we're going to go over all the options we have. The first option we have is play an audio. When we select this option, Callsavvy is going to require us to upload an mp3 audio file that we played back to the caller. The second option is read text. When we choose this option, Callsavvy requires us to type some text that we played back to the caller in form of speech. So this is going to make use of Callsavvy's text-to-speech engine to play the text back to the caller. The third option we have is read response from the script. So this allows us to type in an external API or webhook that Callsavvy will use to fetch response. This is a very good way to create a personalized user experience for the caller. So imagine a scenario where you want the caller to press 1 to get their account balance. So in this case, you're going to call the webhook or the API on your server that fetches the caller's account balance using the caller's phone number and return the output as text. Callsavvy is going to take that output, convert it into speech and read it, play it back to the caller. The next option is queue call to a unit. When you choose this option, Callsavvy will allow you to pick one of the departments or units you created and the call will be queued to everyone in that unit or to agents from that unit depending on your call routing configuration. This next option is connect call to a unit. So this is different from queuing to a unit. With call connection to a unit, Callsavvy will ring everyone on the selected unit until someone takes the call. So the call will keep going around from one agent to another until someone takes the call. The next option is queue call to a branch. When you choose this option, Callsavvy will allow you to pick a branch and then just like what you have on queue to unit, the call will be queued to everyone on the branch depending on your routing settings. Then the next is connect call to branch. Similar to what you have on the unit, this option rings everyone assigned to this branch until someone takes the call or the call times out. The next option is connect call to agent. With this option, you can choose a particular agent on your team you want the call to be directly connected to. So what this means is that the call goes straight to that agent, rings on the agent's Callsavvy dashboard, and the agent is able to answer the call. The next option is connect call to phone. This allows you to send the call away from Callsavvy. So you can actually use this option to redirect the call to another phone number and the call will connect to the phone, and the call can now be answered from that external phone number. Then the next option is send SMS to caller. With this feature, Callsavvy will allow you to type in the message you want the caller to receive, and the message will be sent to the caller as SMS. Remember that for this feature to work, you must have SMS credit on your Callsavvy balance. The next option is redirect to another flow. If you have multiple flows on Callsavvy, you can actually transfer the call to another call flow. So this actually allows you to create a much more advanced IVR scenario. The last option is return to entry point. When you choose this option, Callsavvy takes you back to the beginning of the flow's logic. So we're going to select read text, and then we're going to type the text we want Callsavvy to read out. So we're going to have welcome to XYZ company, and we're going to ask the user to press 1 to press 1 press 1 for help, or 2 for sales. And then after that, Callsavvy need us to select a follow-up action. So what we do next, in this case, we want to collect DTMF. So using this option, get DTMF, allows us to collect the DTMF input for the user and use that to create more flows. And there are more options that are available here now. Right now we have hang up. Choosing hang up means that when we tell the user welcome to XYZ company, press 2, and then the call hangs up, which we definitely don't want to do. So we're going to use get DTMF so that we'll be able to actually know what option the user pressed. And once we do this, we save, and Callsavvy has saved this. Now let's go ahead and add more flows under this. So we click on this menu and select add subflow. And for this trigger, we're going to use that DTMF input equals. This trigger allows us to listen for the exact number or the exact digit the user pressed, and then use that to take action. So in this case, we want to know if the user pressed 1. So we're going to type 1 as this DMS digit to match. Then next, we choose the action. We want Callsavvy to connect the call to a department, and then we're going to select customer service department. So what this means is that when the user press 1, just as we stated in the message, when user press 1, the user is going to be connected to everyone on the customer service unit. And then we save the flow. Then we go ahead and create the second to complete the flow. We're going to create a subflow to handle user input for number 2. So we're going to select the trigger again, DTMF input equals, and this time around we're going to listen for number 2. And this action this time around, let's connect the call to an agent, and let's select an agent here. Let's select Anne. So what this means is that when the user press number 2 during the call will be connected to Anne, and we save. So we can go ahead and add as much flows as we want. Or let's take, for example, we want to add another flow that can trigger getting DTMF. So let's use this, and this time around we're going to use if DTMF equals 3. And for the action, we want to play another text to speech. This time we're going to tell the user press 4 to receive a text, or 0 to go back to main menu. And the action we want to choose is to get DTMF, of course. Then we save. So now for this option, we can go ahead and create a subflow for it. And this subflow will listen for user DTMF input being equal to 4 so that we can handle this. And for this, we want to send text message to the caller because that is what we actually instructed. So we're going to select send SMS to the caller, and we're going to send the text message, thank you for calling, and we save. Then we go ahead and add a second subflow under this again to handle 0. That's when the user press 0. We select this option again, and we're listening for 0. And this time around, we said that when the user press 0, the user is going to be redirected to the beginning. So we are going to select return to entry point and save. So what happens is that when the user press 0, the user is going to be taken all the way up to the beginning, and the user is going to say, hear this welcome message. Now we successfully created a call flow having 3 layers. We can go as deep as we want depending on the complexity of our DTMS scenario. Now our IVR is ready and we are ready to start receiving calls. You can always come back to this section to update your call flow from time to time. Hope you found this video very helpful. Don't forget to check out our other tutorials and guides.